What if Beyoncé never went solo? It was a sunny day in Houston, Texas. Birds were chirping, and kids played outside after school. In a small neighborhood park, four girls sat on a bench under a tree, practicing their dance moves. "Okay, let's try it again," said Kelly, clapping her hands. "Beyoncé, you lead this time." Beyoncé smiled and stood up front. She was only 13, but she had already become the voice of the group. Her voice was powerful, like someone much older. The other girls followed her rhythm as they danced to a song playing from a tiny radio nearby. They called themselves Girls' Time. It wasn't the fanciest name, but it was theirs. Beyoncé, Kelly, Latavia, and Latoya. They had been friends since elementary school. They dreamed of becoming famous one day, maybe even performing on TV or at big concerts. Their music teacher, Miss Roberts, often watched them practice. One afternoon, she approached the girls with a smile. "You know," she said, "you girls are really good together. Have you ever thought about auditioning for that new singing group competition?" The girls looked at each other, eyes wide. "Really?" asked Latoya. Miss Roberts nodded. "I think you could win." That night, Beyoncé couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what Miss Roberts had said. She loved singing with her friends, but deep down, part of her also dreamed of being a solo star someday, just like Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston. But when she looked at her friends' smiling faces the next day, she knew something important: none of them would make it without each other. "We're doing this together," she told them. "No matter what happens, we stick together." And so, Girls' Time entered the competition. They worked hard every day after school, learning choreography, harmonizing their voices, and helping each other grow stronger. Beyoncé led the vocals, Kelly added energy with her bold personality, Latavia brought warmth and harmony, and Latoya's sweet voice balanced everything out. Weeks later, they stood backstage at a huge theater. Their hearts raced as they waited for their turn. When the announcer called their name, they stepped onto the stage. Beyoncé took a deep breath, smiled at her friends, and began to sing. Their voices blended perfectly. Their dance moves were tight. The crowd cheered louder with every note. At the end of the show, the judges gave them a standing ovation. "We've never seen anything like it," one judge said. "You girls have magic." They won first place. News of Girls' Time spread quickly. Soon, record companies were calling. A producer named Mr. Taylor invited them to his studio. "This is your chance," he told them. "We can make you stars." Months passed. They recorded songs, made music videos, and went on tour across the country. Their bond grew stronger with every city they visited. Fans loved their unity, their friendship, and how each girl brought something special to the group. Even when things got tough, like when they argued over which song should be next, or who should get the spotlight, they always remembered why they started: for fun, for friendship, and for the love of music. One night, while sitting around a campfire during a break from tour, Kelly turned to Beyoncé. "You could be a solo star if you wanted," she said, quietly. "You know that, right?" Beyoncé looked into the fire and smiled. "I know," she replied, "but I don't want to be alone. You guys are my family. We made it together, and I want to stay together." Latoya hugged her. "Thanks, B." Years flew by. Girls' Time became one of the most beloved groups in music history. They inspired millions of young girls to follow their dreams and to believe in friendship. Eventually, they decided to slow down and start families of their own. But they never stopped supporting each other. On their final tour together, Beyoncé stood in the center of the stage, looking out at thousands of fans waving glow sticks and crying happy tears. She raised the microphone and said, "This journey wouldn't have meant anything without these three amazing women beside me. Thank you for loving us, and thank you for letting us grow up together." The crowd roared with applause. Later that night, the four friends sat backstage, laughing and reminiscing. "I still can't believe we did all that together," Latavia said. Beyoncé smiled. "Me neither. And I wouldn't change a thing." In the years that followed, people often asked Beyoncé if she ever regretted not going solo. She always answered the same way. I had everything I ever wanted with my friends by my side. As time passed, the world changed. New music styles came and went, but Girls' Time remained a symbol of unity, talent, and heart. Even though they weren't touring anymore, their songs were still played on the radio, and young girls all over the world looked up to them. One day, Beyoncé got a call from a famous music magazine. "We'd love to do a story about you," said the reporter on the phone. "But we want to focus on your individual journey. What made you become such an incredible artist?" Beyoncé thought for a moment. "I appreciate that," she said gently. "But I didn't become anything alone. My journey is the story of Girls' Time. Without my friends, I wouldn't be who I am." The reporter was quiet for a second, then replied, "That's beautiful. Can we interview all four of you together?" "Of course," Beyoncé said with a smile. When the interview day came, the four women met at Beyoncé's home. They laughed as they walked through old photo albums filled with memories, school dances, first concerts, wild tour buses, and award shows. The reporter asked many questions, but one stood out. "What do you think made Girls' Time so special?" Kelly answered first. "We started as friends. We never tried to be perfect. We just loved singing together." Latavia added, "And we always supported each other. Even when things got hard, we knew we had each other's backs." Latoya smiled. "People saw real friendship on stage. That's something you can't fake." Beyoncé nodded. "We believed in each other more than we believed in ourselves sometimes, and that gave us strength." The article became one of the most popular stories of the year. Teenagers read it and wrote letters to the group, saying how much they admired their bond. One letter, from a girl named Maya, read, "Dear Girls' Time, I'm part of a singing group with my best friends. Sometimes I wonder if I should go solo, because I want to be famous. But reading your story reminded me why we started, to have fun and support each other. Thank you for showing me that being together is better than being alone." Beyoncé read the letter aloud to her friends during one of their weekly coffee meetups. Her eyes sparkled. "That's why we did this," she said softly. "Not for the fame, not for the money, but for moments like this, to inspire others to stick together." Years later, Girls' Time reunited for a special concert. It wasn't for money or awards, it was for the fans who had grown up with them, and for the new generation discovering their music. Back on stage, under the bright lights, the four friends held hands and bowed to the cheering crowd. Then Beyoncé stepped forward and said, "This is where we belong together." They sang their classic hits, and for one night, it felt like time had stopped. After the show, as they walked off the stage, Latoya whispered, "We really did live our dream, and we shared it with the world," Beyoncé said, hugging her tightly. From that day on, Girls' Time became more than just a music group. They became a symbol of loyalty, love, and the magic that happens when friends believe in each other. And Beyoncé, she never went solo, because some stars shine brightest when they shine together.